Yeah, just give me all of the respect. I use your reverence as a reward. They know that I got the power and they looking at me like the source. Take my throne, boy, stop that. I'm on my hill, can't top that. You take this L, yeah, rock that. You know, I never needed a cosign. Yeah, I'm gon' shine. I rock independent. Representing like I work for the Senate. You double LC, you ain't got no business. Come in
What's up, Yankees universe? KOD Nation, stand up, and all you Degens, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. This Tuesday, December 13th. People out there in the world, how you doing? I see we already got a few people in the chat. Udo Yosef, good morning. Hope all is well, Udo. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you for the support. 100% from day one. Udo said, continue success for your channel. Appreciate that, baby. G-Man is in the building. G-Man, what it do, my guy? Salute, salute, salute. Mikey Mazza and the 4-Train Express is in the building. Yes, sir. And, of course, my man, Pots and Pan, Jigga Man Porto is in the building. Krista Flash, I see you, Krista Flash. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And good morning to you guys. Listen, I got to start this off by saying this, right? Shout out to everybody at NYY News TV for the opportunity that Jigga Man and myself had this Friday that just passed. Get Yanked. First episode was phenomenal, and I have a feeling this show is going to be something that you all are going to like. Next episode is coming up this Friday, so make sure you guys tune in. And as well, tomorrow, right? Tomorrow on the Next Morning Brew, we have a special guest. Julito is coming through. If you guys are familiar with the TV show The Wire from back in the days at HBO, Julito was a part of it when he was young. He'll be stopping through on the channel tomorrow. He's dropping his album. He's bringing his album by with him. We're going to listen to his album in the morning, and it's just going to be a beautiful Wednesday. But let me shout out the chat a little bit more because we got Tyler Tabbitt in the building. Tyler, what it do? Dawn63, I see you. Li Yankee King, the dawn of the wrestling ring is in the building. Li, I see you, baby. Brad Jewis is in the building. Mr. Brad, what it do? Chris Perez, I see you, Chris. Hope all is well. But we're going to have to get right to it. Before I bring in Halal to drop one of his beautiful hot takes, we're going to have to get right to the rumors because there's several rumors going on right now. There was reports earlier that the Yankees and Carlos Rodon have unofficially come to terms on a contract, right? They're just finalizing the final pieces to it. So hopefully later on in the day, we get some official news on the Carlos Rodon deal so we can make it official and celebrate Carlos Rodon coming over to the Yankees. But there's two extra rumors on top of it. There's a Carlos Correa rumor that's going around, and there's a Fernando Tatis Jr. rumor going around. Listen, I know a lot of people, when it comes to this Fernando Tatis issue, I'm going to tackle this first. When it comes to Tatis, I know a lot of people are split, 50-50, right? Shout out to Jason from 161 River Ave. Shout out to Derek from NYY Recap. They dropped amazing videos yesterday on the topic. And I'm kind of split, you know. Does Tatis come with a lot of baggage? Absolutely. You know, the whole steroids situation is BS on his part, not on the situation itself. You know, he got suspended, he got popped for roids. On top of it, the motorcycle accidents, you know, so it's a lot of baggage that comes from Fernando Tatis, right? But is it a way for us to entertain the conversation? Absolutely. Now, if it comes to trading Volpe or Dominguez, conversation's done. I'm not having that conversation. But if it's a situation where the Yankees, and shout out to my man Pete Simonetti, because he brought up this proposal. If there's a way for the Yankees, because Tatis has a no trade clause, right? So with Tatis's no trade clause, the value wouldn't be that high for Tatis to say if he didn't have a no trade clause. So if it's a situation where the Yankees can dump Josh Donaldson, right, Aaron Hicks's contract, right, throw in DJ LeMahieu's contract, and if you want to throw in Gleyber Torres, throw in Gleyber Torres, and then you add 3 top 10 prospects, Will Warren, Randy Vasquez, and Trey Sweeney to get the deal done. If that's what it takes to get Fernando Tatis, I'm making the deal. But if it comes with adding extra prospects on top of it, like an Everson Pereira or an Austin Wells, or even a Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, I'm hanging up the phone and I'm not doing it. It makes no sense to gut your farm system for a guy who literally has a lot of troubles off the field, right? Him in the front office, they're in an influx right now, right? They just signed Xander Bogaerts. The rumors are Tatis is going to be moved to the outfield, left field, or right field. I'm not too sure. They have Juan Soto in right field, so most likely left field. Now, if the Yankees were to get Tatis, will he be the shortstop for the Yankees, or will he be the left fielder for the Yankees, right? Now, when you pivot to the Carlos Correa angle of things, if you guys listen to Michael Kay, right? Michael Kay came out and said yesterday that he made some phone calls, and when it comes to Carlos Correa, it's not happening. So according to Michael Kay, it's not happening, right? And the Tatis rumors, I think it's just people just trying to, take whatever they can and throw it to the wall to see if it sticks, right? So we could take the Tatis rumors and throw it out the window. I'm just bringing forth if the opportunity came to get Tatis and all we had to do was dump our contracts that we had when it comes to dead weight and just add in 3 top 10 prospects that aren't in the top 3 or the top 5, that's a conversation to entertain, But at the same time, the baggage that comes with Tatis, I'm not somebody that wants to bring that along. And I got Stephen Fox is in the building. Uncle Foxy, I see you, baby. I see you, baby. Mikey Mazza said we should stay clear of Tatis. It's something to risk. Yeah, it's not something to risk. Absolutely. It's a lot that comes with trading for Tatis when it comes to prospects, when it comes to money that you're taking on the books, and when it comes to just an overall headache that can happen. Let me see right now. My Eric Wallace is in the building. Eric Wallace, I see you, baby. I see you. Dan says Swanson wouldn't be horrible at shortstop. Yeah, Dansby Swanson wouldn't be horrible at shortstop, but at the same time, that's not a person that I'll be willing to knock over an old lady to go and sign, if you understand what I'm saying. He would be a solid pickup. He was a champion in Atlanta. He had the best offensive season he had of his career. So just hold on to that. Walk year, know if both of those correlate, right? But Dansby Swanson is a gamer. Dansby Swanson is a solid defensive shortstop, and he's a contact hitter that doesn't strike out as much, right? Now, another rumor that is out there, and let me know what you guys feel about this, is the Yankees trading for Max Kepler from the Minnesota Twins. What are we doing? What are we doing? Max Kepler is just Aaron Hicks if he can stay healthy. That's literally all Max Kepler is. He may strike out a little bit less than Aaron Hicks, but Max Kepler cannot be this big thing that the Yankees are trying to pull together. Because the rumors were that the Yankees were not only signing Carlos Correa, but there's also a big move that the Yankees are trying to make. And that better not be just Max Kepler. He's not any kind of an upgrade. So I really wouldn't. He's a solid 4th outfielder. If you want to get Max Kepler to be a 4th outfielder, copy. Cool. Make the trade. If you're trading for Max Kepler because the Twins want back Josh Donaldson, go ahead. Send back Josh Donaldson to Minnesota. I highly doubt that. But I'm not. Max Kepler, I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I remember Max Kepler when he was coming up. He was supposed to be some big time prospect, but he hasn't panned out to be nothing. He's washed. Pinstripe Chronicles is in the building. Uncle Tats, what it do, baby? Salute, 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 salute. Eli says Tatis would be traded this offseason in this trade. Padres shortstop acquired. Okay. All right. I just one, Tatis has a no trade clause, right? So Tatis is controlling where he wants to go. Now, since the Boston Red Sox lost Xander Bogaerts, could we see a situation or scenario where Tatis goes to Boston? That may be something. If Tatis goes to Boston and you got that, green monster right there, that may be something to help out Tatis for his career. We got Mark T Maker in the building. Marky Mark, what it do, baby? Good morning, bro. Appreciate you for stopping by. He was saying, I was talking about Kepler 2 weeks back. Just signed Benintendi. It's ridiculous already. And forget Tatis. That is a total BS story someone made up. Yeah, I agree, Mark. I honestly think that the whole Tatis story was literally just trying to pick something up, throw it against the wall, and hopefully something hits. Right. So when it comes to Tatis, it's an interesting conversation to have. But when you start peeling back the extra layers that are attached to bringing Tatis over to the Bronx, it becomes a headache. It honestly becomes a headache. Right. So when it comes to Andrew Benintendi, right? I think the Yankees are trying to use that money that they have instead of signing Benintendi, pivoting it towards Carlos Rodon and trading for Brian Reynolds. I think that's the Yankees' game plan right there. Signing Rodon and trading for Brian Reynolds. They're just trying to figure out the prospects that Pittsburgh wants back, right? I don't see the Yankees going out there and spending $30 million a year or $35 million a year on Carlos Rodon, and on top of it, adding Andrew Benintendi, that's probably going to cost $20 million as well a season. Now, if the Yankees can figure out a way to get off Josh Donaldson, to get off Aaron Hicks's contract, that frees up some money so the Yankees can go out there and sign Andrew Benintendi on top of Carlos Rodon and not worry about the prospects that we would potentially lose trading for Brian Reynolds, right? And the Yankees should pivot towards trading Josh Donaldson and towards trading Aaron Hicks and using that money for Andrew Benintendi, because you don't want Andrew Benintendi to wind up in Houston making that lineup better. It's not only about signing Benintendi for your team, right? It's also about keeping him away from the Houston Astros. Period. Oh, see, get well soon, Uncle Tats. Oh, Tats, I hope all is well. Uncle Tats, don't tell me you sick, baby. Hope you be good, baby. Oh, I see it in the chat right now. Should be back Thursday. I'm sick as a dog. Uncle Tats, let me know if you need anything. I'll Uber you some mints, or I'll Uber you some Robitussin. Let me know, Uncle Tats. I got you. Tyler Tabbitt, he said sign Benny or trade for Reynolds. I think the Yankees, when it comes to left field, they're going to attack it both ways, right? They're going to try to upgrade with Brian Reynolds, or they're going to try to get Andrew Benintendi. It all comes down to if they're able to move off of Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks right now. Now, Li, I see what you're saying, right? Last year, the asking price would keep the Yankees out of it. This is a year removed. This is an offseason where he has come out and asked and demanded to be traded from the team. So the asking price, it goes down. Once there's any chaos in a situation, if Brian Reynolds would have never asked to be traded, the asking price would probably be what it was last year. But since he came out publicly and demanded a trade and now puts the pressure on the front office to make a trade happen before the season even starts. So off of that point right there, the asking price is just going to be lowered just a little bit. Not that much, but just a little bit, because the demand is coming from the player, right? In baseball, you never see this type of situation. You never see a star on a team demanding to be traded, I should say. In baseball, you never see a star player from a team come out and demand that team trade him away. It happens in basketball. It definitely happens in basketball, and it happens in the NFL. This is the first time that I remember seeing it in Major League Baseball. If there's another scenario out there that you guys remember when a star player demanded a trade from an organization in Major League Baseball, let me know. Let me know so that way I can educate myself. But G-Man says we held tight to all these prospects, passed up on Soto and others, stop with the chatter and make some strong moves to better the team. Yeah. Eli said, I'm sorry, it's a get yanked for everyone saying that Brian Reynolds is realistic for the Yankees. Love you, Eli. Appreciate the get yanked. Get yanked. Alan Landsman, appreciate you. Good morning, Alan. He says, too many rumors out there. Benny apparently doesn't want to play in New York. That's something I heard as well. I am sure that Cashman is working on multiple team trades like the Braves did and moving back contracts. And that's a good point. I appreciate you, Alan, for pointing that out. Apparently, Andrew Benintendi does not like the big lights of the city. He's a Midwest kind of guy, right? That's why in Boston, him and the fans in Boston, they kind of turned on each other, right? So if Andrew Benintendi doesn't want to be in the big city, doesn't want to be in the Bronx, doesn't want to be on Broadway with the lights, maybe moving off of him could be a good idea because he doesn't want to come back here. As much as I want Andrew Benintendi back here with the Yankees, if he doesn't want to be back here with the Yankees, that goes to show me that I'm going to just move on. Anthony Medina's in the building. Anthony, what it do, baby? And I got Steve Schumann, my man Steve, with the plan. Steve, good morning. He said Reynolds is going to be too expensive, prospect-wise. I would trade with the Diamondbacks outfielders. Worst comes to worst, put Cabrera out there. Don't give up on Volpe or Jason. I don't want to trade Volpe or Jason. Those are the two prospects that I do not want to trade. Now, when it comes to Peraza, if something makes sense for us, cool, copy. But I just don't want to trade just for the sake of making the trade. You understand? And Arizona would be a good spot to try to dump Aaron Hicks. I mean, to try to dump Josh Donaldson. There's reports and there's rumors that they're trying to go after Evan Longoria and they need a third baseman. Call up Arizona, see if they want Josh Donaldson. It's literally just for one season. If they're willing to take on Evan Longoria, why not Josh Donaldson? I understand the money. The money is a big part of it. But if they're looking for a third baseman, call up Arizona and see what it would take to get Josh Donaldson off this team and move him to the desert. Mark Teammaker with another hot take. Here's another rumor. The Braves may trade Fried. If that's true, maybe they are looking into that. Maybe. But we have to see what that big move is going to be. Yankee fans, we got all excited thinking that it was Carlos Correa because Carlos Correa, it's the only other big free agent that's out there next to Carlos Rodon, right? So a lot of Yankee fans got excited. I know I got excited. We was on Get Yanked. I was super excited on Get Yanked, one of the CNC, like the CNC sodas from back in the days. But whatever move that comes, whatever move that this front office goes out and make, as long as it improves this team, as long as it's a move that's beneficial for this team and makes us better for the next season coming up. Because re-signing Judge was all fine and dandy. It was beautiful. At this moment right now, December 13th, on this Tuesday at 11:18 in the morning, right? The Yankees have done nothing to improve this team from what it was last year. Maybe, let me take that back. Tommy Kahnle coming and improving the bullpen, that's a move. But an overall move, a big move to make us better than the Astros, to take us over that hump, we haven't made it. And I do not want this front office to do what they did last year. Last offseason, when the Mets were signing all these players, trading for Chris Bassett, signing Starlin Marte, right? Signing Max Scherzer. When the Mets were on the back pages of New York, what did the Yankees do? They called up Minnesota and they traded for Josh Donaldson. That's what I don't want the Yankees to do this offseason. Trying to make a move for either a starting pitcher that is not up to par with Carlos Rodon, or trying to trade for a bat that is past his prime. I do not want Brian Cashman to try to go shopping in the bargain bin. No, use your money and use your resources wisely to go out there and add an impact back to this team. Let me see what we got in the chat. Jacob, I see you, Jacob. Jacob said, I don't know what gallon is. And for Chisholm and Lopez will be both big trades. I'm sorry, that can help us beat the Astros. Yeah, I love Jazz Chisholm. He's a phenomenal player. Phenomenal player. Krista Flash says that was the promise to Judge, that Howe would improve this team to sign Rodon. Hopefully that's what it is. Hopefully that's what it is. We can't just go off of hearsay. I didn't hear Howe say it. The rumors are that Howe said it, so hopefully it's true. Hector, there were rumors about Gallen. Oh, that's the guy who was just brought up. And a lot Yanks potential of Miami trading Chisholm and Lopez to Yanks, according to Daniel Cunningham. Both were discussed at the winter meetings. Listen, if the Yankees could figure out a way to get Jazz Chisholm, put him at that leadoff spot, I'll take that. Uncle Tat says, moving Donaldson, the Yankees will have to eat 80% or more to move. I'll still do it, though. I want to ask you guys, I want to get your tone. Who would you rather the Yankees have on their roster next year to start the season? Would you rather the Yankees have Josh Donaldson on the roster to start the season? Or would you rather the Yankees have Aaron Hicks on the roster to start the season? Let me know what you guys feel in the chat. Me personally, I don't want to see Aaron Hicks ever in a Yankees uniform. So if we just remove Aaron Hicks and come back with Josh Donaldson next season, I'll take that over removing Josh Donaldson and coming back with Aaron Hicks next season. I just do not want to see Aaron Hicks anymore, and his lazy ass cast and his horrible knees. I do not want to see Aaron Hicks in the Yankee uniform anymore. Anthony Medina said, according to Jack Curry, Ben Benintendi likes his short stay in New York. It's a question of how much money he will get from either team or another team. Listen, Anthony, that's music to my ears, because if Andrew Benintendi wants to come back, Brad says neither. Tyler says neither. If there's a way for us to bring back Andrew Benintendi and at the same time signing Carlos Rodon, sign me up for that. Oh, Mel Williams, salute. Good morning. He says, keep Hicks, dump the bum. Okay. D's channel, what it do? Good morning. Salute. 3 capital S's. Good morning. Oh, Jason Kimball said, is there a big enough trade package out there that a team can offer to persuade an Otani trade from the Angels? Jason, maybe not this offseason, most likely at the trade deadline, right? Most likely at the trade deadline. I know a lot of people have reported on this, but if you go to the Anaheim Angels, right, to their website, to the Angels website, and you look at their promotions, they have Shohei Otani promotions all through the first half of the season, right? When you look at their scheduling, they have no Shohei Otani promotions after the trade deadline, because I think the speculation is they're going to trade Otani. They're trying to get new ownership. They're trying to sell the team. So one way you could do that is improving your farm system by getting a king's ransom for Otani and making sure that you keep your franchise player and Mike Trout healthy. Those are all the options, the only options the Anaheim Angels have. You can't rely on Anthony Rodon to bounce back this season after the injury that he had last year. So I would expect the Shohei Otani trade right before the trade deadline, Jason. JT, he says, sign Gardner. Never that. Boricua in the house de la Isla, my man. Let me know what part of the island you're from. My family's from Utuado. Adam Landsman said, with Stanton as a DH almost 90% of the time, it will hurt Otani coming to the Yankees. Yeah. If there's no way for us to get off of Stanton's contract, which I don't think there is. One, he has a no trade clause. Two, I think he really enjoys his time here in the Bronx with the Yankees. So I don't see us being able to get off of Stanton's contract. And the Angels, they don't play Otani in the outfield. They don't want to risk that type of injury. So unless the Yankees are going to be willing to play Giancarlo Stanton on left field every day that Otani's in the lineup at DH, I don't see that happening. And at the same time, it's just too big of a risk for Otani. Otani is a special player. Otani is probably the best player in all of Major League Baseball. But the risk that comes with Otani. Now, if Otani gets injured and has to miss a significant chunk of the season, right, or significant part of the season, it's not that you're only just down on a number one starter, but you are also down on a big bat in your lineup. So for me, there's just too much of a risk that comes with Shohei Otani. Now, from an owner's point of view, Shohei Otani is a golden goose. He is a cash cow. He is a money-making machine. Not only merchandise in the major league industry or major league market, but the overseas market, that money coming from Japan, alone could probably pay for half of the Angels' payroll right now. Just off of that alone. So when you're trading for Otani, there's three things you have to put into consideration. You are trading for a top-of-the-line starting pitcher. You were trading for a big bopper in that lineup. And you were trading for the marketing golden goose that he is. He's going to make you money no matter what team you can put him on the Milwaukee Brewers, and Shohei Otani is going to be a cash cow. You could put him on the Tampa Bay Rays, and Shohei Otani will bring in the highest profits that team ever got. Point blank, period. If I had to put money on it, and I hate to say this because Zook just stepped into the chat. If I had to put money on it, I would say that Shohei Otani winds up in Queens. Zook, I see you, baby. Listen, congratulations to my man Zook. He got married. Feel me? He was on his honeymoon. Zook, you got to get back to work, baby, because we miss you on the Z runs, bro. We miss you on the Friday nights. But shout out to my man Zook for getting married. Wish you all the best of luck in the world, brother. I miss you on the Z runs, bro. Mostly Doughboy. Doughboy missed you more than anything else. L.I. Yankee King with a hot take. He said the big move is trading Stanton to San Diego because they would tell Stanton they would play him in right field or left field more than he would with the Yankees. Listen, if Stanton wants to be traded to San Diego, I've said this a bunch of times, I would pay for his Uber to the airport. I would pay for Uber Black. That's how much I would pay for Uber Black to get Stanton off of this team. But that's only if he wants to be traded. I just do not see a scenario where Stanton wants to be traded. I think he really likes being a Yankee. I just really think he does. That's just me. If a situation, like I said, if the scenario works out, go ahead. Jiggerman says Zook already called out of work today. That man changed. Yes, I appreciate you, Mark. Hit the like button, right? Help us get out there. Hit that like button. It does real well for the algorithm. It helps us get to eyes that has never seen us before. But Yankee fans, I'm gonna take a quick commercial break, not commercial break, but we'll be right back because we got Halal's hot take. My man Halal is always dropping a hot take. So we're gonna watch Halal hot take and we'll come right back.
Hello, Yankees Morning Brew. Good morning, Hector. Good morning, Jiggerman. Good morning to everyone who is tuning in. Today, I am having some issues with my camera, so it's going to be an audio only, but I do want to tune in because I did not do it last week, and we still got to keep up to date on the Hillel hot takes. But first, we got to give a tremendous tip of the cap to Hector and Jiggerman for an awesome Get Yank podcast. That was some really good stuff, some really high-quality stuff by NYY News TV. And just really good show. If you guys have not seen that yet, make sure you check that out. But let's talk some Yankees. How about that? So there's a lot of rumors going around about Correa, about Rodon, and everything. But I want to tune to a different topic. Let's say we didn't sign Aaron Judge. I know we did, but let's say we didn't. How crazy am I to think that I would rather have gone out and got in Rodon, Correa, and Reynolds over Judge? It's pretty crazy. I have to say, it's crazy. But getting Rodon gives you depth in the rotation. Getting Correa adds another spot at shortstop. getting Reynolds pretty much fills Judge's place. He's younger, has more years of control. So am I crazy to think that I'd rather have those 3 guys over Judge? We still have potential at getting Rodon and Correa, even though we did sign Judge. Fortunately, we don't even have to think about the fact that we don't have Judge, because we do. But in the event that we didn't, this is an interesting topic to talk about. Maybe bring it up at your dinner table. You think Rodon, Correa, and Reynolds is worth over Judge? I think the Rodon and Correa is probably a little bit higher over Judge's contract, but you probably will get more value. And trading for Reynolds would cost some prospects, but there's a lot you can do. I really think, in my opinion, I think I would do it. I think it gives more value to the roster. It's kind of like what the Mets did. They traded DeGrom, and instead they got Quintana, Senga, and Verlander, and it's only $2 million over what DeGrom's getting paid, which is crazy because they have now 3 valuable pitchers instead of 1 valuable pitcher. So the Mets found a way to do it. I wonder if the Yankees didn't get Judge, if they would be able to find a way to do it. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for having me on Yankees Morning Brew. That is it for Hill's Hot Takes this week, and I'll see you next time.
Ooh, appreciate my man Halal for always dropping a hot take like he does every Tuesday. But, I understand and I appreciate when they say that the children are our future, right? The young ones are our future, because I feel that Halal, Backstage Baseball, he's going to do amazing things when it comes to this industry of like sports coverage, right? But the thought of not having Judge on this team right now, if it was a situation where the Yankees can only sign Judge and not sign Carlos Rodon, I can entertain that conversation of signing Rodon and Correa, right? But the Yankees have come out, the rumors have it, the Yankees have come out and said they would they would sign Judge and sign Rodon. So if we're getting Judge and Rodon, I'm happy this offseason. As much as like Chris Perez just said, as much as I want Carlos Correa on this team, I just don't think the Yankees have Carlos Correa in their plans. Now, I want to ask you guys this, because we're going to talk about this on Get Yanked, but I just want to ask you guys this when it comes to Carlos Correa. I'm not going to reveal the conversation that I had back and forth, but I had a back and forth with a nice little Yankee fan about Carlos Correa. So basically, it came down to this. He said, you're not a real Yankee fan if you want Carlos Correa because of the cheating that happened, because of the disrespect he showed Jeter, and because the disrespect he showed Yankee fans. So I want to ask you Yankee fans in the chat, let me know how you guys feel. Are you guys on board with he was disrespectful to Yankee fans? I understood he said some words about Jeter, but will that stop you, right? Would the cheating controversy stop you? Would the Derek Jeter slander stop you? Would the disrespect for Yankee fans? Would any of those 3 things stop you from signing Carlos Correa and improving this team going forward? Now, I feel that Carlos Correa would be a valuable piece added to this lineup, would be a big time contributor, getting you to that next level of competing in October and hopefully winning a championship. So let me know in the chat, would you guys sign Carlos Correa? Michael Caputo is in the chat like always. Negative Nancy Caputo, I see you, baby. Hope all is well, Caputo. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Jack Arnold, Carlos Correa not going to the Yankees. Yeah, I know. I was listening to Michael K yesterday when he said that his sources said that the Yankees are not in, and they weren't never in on Carlos Correa. But I would like to ask Yankee fans, if you had an opportunity to add Carlos Correa to this team, would any of the baggage from Carlos Correa's past, would any of that turn you off from signing Carlos Correa? Hell, you already heard the Dodgers came out and said that they wouldn't sign Carlos Correa because of the backlash that they think that they will get from their fans. So let me know, would you guys add Carlos Correa to the team? My man Joe from the Shift is in the building. What it do, baby? Listen, bro, I'm still trying to get you on the Yankees Morning Brew. If you can, please email me, yankeesmorningbrew@gmail.com, bro. I would love to get you on the show. I'm a big fan of your work, my guy. If you guys aren't subscribed to the Shift, what are you doing? Make sure you go support my man, The Shift. Make sure you support all Yankee content creators that are out there. The Shift, 161 River Avenue, Derek from NYY Recap, and of course, the home base, NYY News with Pete Simonetti and the guys over there. Please make sure you support all these Yankee content creators because I understand it's the off season, but for us content creators, it's the on season, right? This is the on season because we're coming with all that content. We're trying to bring you with all the news as much as we can. And there's a lot of great contributors out there in the Yankees content world when it comes to The Shift, when it comes to Pinstripe Chronicles, when it comes to Jason from 161 River Ave, NYY Recaps, NYY News TV, Backstage Baseball, Yankees Avenue. There's a lot of great content creators, and make sure you guys go and support them. Hold on. SKF is in the building. Still Nick fans, Ron and John. He said, what's good, everybody? Salute to the chat. Salute to my guy, Hector. It has definitely been a hot stove for my Mets and your Yankees. Listen, as long as both teams in New York City are competitive, I'm happy with it, right? I understand you Met fans you guys act brand new. You guys are like the kid at school that never got a pair of Jordans and finally got his first pair of Jordans and you don't know how to act. I understand that. I get that, right? The kid that gets a fresh pair of Easy jeans that cost a lot of money, you don't know how to act. I understand that. But as long as both teams are good in the city, as long as baseball is competitive in the city, I am so happy. I'm just so happy. I understand I'm a Yankee fan, but I'm not going to be one of those Yankee fans that just clowns on the Mets. No, absolutely not. My man Zook is a diehard Met fan. How can I do that? L.I. Yankee King said, you would have combined all of your fandoms of Derek Jeter and it wouldn't touch mine, and I would welcome Correa. There you go, L.I. Yankee King. If there's a Yankee fan out there that if you're upset with Correa and you do not like Correa, I understand that, right? But there is no way, right, that you can sit back and say to yourself that adding Carlos Correa to this team wouldn't bring us closer to another championship. There's no way that you can say that. There's no way that you can say that. And guys, if you can, hit that like button. We got 51 people watching us right now. Back to back 50 people on the show is amazing. Last week and this week right now. So if you guys can, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well. Mark T. Maker says, I want the kids to play. I want to play the kids. We have Rizzo to mentor. Sign me up. Play the kids. If Brian Cashman wants to finally play the kids, play those kids. Let them get out there. Let them get their elbows dirty. Let them get their knees dirty. Let the kids play. Now, when it comes to our team next year, I think it's going to be a healthy combination of both the players that we have and the prospects that we have coming up. When it comes to that bullpen, right, I honestly feel Deivi Garcia is going to be a big part of that bullpen coming up, right? Jonathan Lasagna, at the beginning of last year, he was shaky. Towards the end of last year, he was phenomenal. He was lights out. He was back to what his form was the year prior. And also, I'm not sure if you guys saw that Alex Bregman interview that, he was on a podcast. He was being interviewed, and they asked him, who is the toughest pitcher that you have to face in baseball? And he said it. He said, Jonathan Lasagna. He said, Jonathan Loizaga, his stuff is the nastiest stuff in all of baseball. So if Alex Bregman can say that from the Houston Astros, he has nothing to gain for crediting a Yankees pitcher. That's something to look out for. Let me check out the chat. And guys, as well, if you haven't tuned into any of our interviews that we had Ja Rule on the show for the Next Morning Brew. We had Jerry Ferrara on the show for the Next Morning Brew. We had Scott Braun on the Yankees Morning Brew. So please go check out those interviews if you haven't already checked them out. If you're new to the channel, Zook said Yankee fans were used to being the only family in town with money. Now there's a bigger bully in town. I wouldn't say a bigger bully. What it is that you just got 2 stimulus checks and the Yankees only got 1. That's all it is. Steve Cohen has 2 stimulus checks and Hal Steinbrenner only got 1. That's really all it is, Zook. Oh, Michael Caputo, please, Michael Caputo. Let's not argue in the chat. This has been a beautiful chat this morning. Let's not argue in the chat. If you have a certain way that you feel, just state it and move on forward. Adam Landsman said, interesting news coming out of Atlanta today, as Jim Callis said live on MLB Network that he's heard rumors that the Braves ace Max Fried could be on the trade block. Somebody brought that up earlier, and if the Yankees can trade for Max Fried, ooh, watch out. Watch out. If the Yankees sign Rodon and trade for Max Fried, ooh, watch out. Watch out. He said, why can't we get Correa? Listen, if you guys get Correa and put him at third base, the Mets are going to be dangerous. The Mets are going to be dead. That's one thing about the Mets. One thing about the Mets is that they're going to be a team that's going to try to add starting pitching, right? They're going to be a team that their philosophy has always been starting pitching. Always been starting pitching, right? There's never been a period, if you look at the Mets, if you split them up every 5 years or every 10 years, there's never been a period over these past 30 years that the Mets haven't had a number one, right? Going back to Outlider, they had Outlider, right? They had both Tom Glavine and Pedro Martinez. Granted, they're both past their prime. I understand that, right? Johan Santana, right? Then they had the five young wonders that only Jacob deGrom turned out to be the best one out of them all. But the Mets as a team and their philosophy, they've always been a team that always leaned and always worked on making sure they have that ace starting pitcher. When it comes to the Yankees, right, their core has always been position players. The Yankees core has always been position players. Over the past 50 or 60 years, 70 years, if you want to put it, the Yankees have only developed probably 3 number one starters, right? Over the past 60 or 50 years. It's been Whitey Ford, it's been Ron Guidry, and if you want to throw Mel Stoudemire in that conversation, you can throw Mel Stoudemire in that conversation. But ever since those 3 starting pitchers, the Yankees haven't developed their own number one starting pitcher, their own number one ace. They've never developed the best pitcher in the league. That's just not what the Yankees have done from an organization standpoint, right? They've gone out there and spend the money. They've gone out there and opened up the wallets to spend the money on bringing in and importing a starting pitcher. But when it comes from the organization and developing their own aces, the last time the Yankees did that, like I said, Mel Stoudemire, Ron Guidry, and Whitey Ford. I love Andy Pettitte. Andy Pettitte was never a number one. Like I said, I loved Andy Pettitte. Andy Pettitte was always, even at his top in his career, he was a solid number 2, never a number 1. Never number 1. Anthony, like I said, I love Andy Pettitte. Big time Pettitte, especially in the postseason. But as a number 1, I'm not sure. He's a borderline number 1. Borderline number 1, right? But as being the ace, the stud, best pitcher in the league, it's never been Andy Pettitte, right? And there's no disrespect towards Andy Pettitte, because Andy Pettitte, in my eyes, from what he done in the postseason, should be in consideration for the Hall of Fame. But I understand he won't get in because of the PEDs, or however you want to put it. Michael Caputo said, even if the Mets never win a World Series, at least they try to win, and they buy a World Series every year. What? I'm confused at that. Mark T. Maker said the Mets are spending and the payroll, the tax now, where they build their farm in 2 or 3 years, Cohen was shimming down, and so would the payroll. Listen, when it comes to the Mets, their farm system, it's not one of the best in baseball, right? They're top heavy in their farm system with Alvarez and Betty, right? If they want to trade Alvarez and Betty, those are 2 good pieces to use in a Shohei Otani trade. Besides that, the Mets aren't prospect. Hey, they don't have a good farm system. Hypothetically, if the Mets were to trade for Shohei Otani, Steve Cohen will probably have to eat that Anthony Rodon contract as well. Anthony Rodon, his contract may be attached to Shohei Otani, and that may be a way that Steve Cohen can trade for Otani, because their prospect pool is not that deep. So you will have to put in Alvarez, you will have to put in Beatty, and you will have to use your financial resources to eat that Rodon contract to entice the Angels to trade you Shohei Otani. Jake Balls is in the building. Big Balls, what it do, baby? He said Mets and Yankees could run a $400 million payroll every year if they wanted. Even at the amount they need to spend, it's small for its for. Listen, Jake, I've covered it so many different times when it comes to how much money these teams make. I'm gonna stop it because if I keep talking my mouth, you may find me like that guy from the 80s that made that engine that was good on water, didn't need gasoline. You may find me like that, man. So I'm going to stop talking about these billionaires and how much money they make because you may find me in the river sleeping with the fishes in Pelham Bay. Hold on. Just want to look at the chat. And again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said, if you can hit that like button for your boys, it'll be much appreciated. The Parada is a catcher who was our first round pick last year. Don't need him with Alvarez. He's at 37 overall in baseball already. Okay. So listen, you want to add Parada, Alvarez, and Beatty in a trade for Shohei Otani? Still gonna have to eat that Rodon contract, right? Like I said, ultimately, I think that's where he winds up, Shohei Otani. He's gonna wind up either with the Dodgers or with the New York Mets. Point blank, period. Uncle Tat said the Mets tax bill is already more than the bottom 3 teams' entire payroll. Yeah, Steve Cohen got that money to burn. He definitely got that money to burn. Hold on, Chris. I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't see your chat. Let me pull it up. Chris said, "I'm tired of hearing about spending. Last I checked, it's our money too. How? To a degree, we go to the stadium and we buy chicken tendies and chicken nuggies, but that's about it. When it comes down to it, ultimately, it's house money at the end of the day. Us fans, we may invest our hard-earned money going to watch this team, but it's house money at the end of the day. And like I said, Howe is not a stupid owner. He is not a stupid billionaire. He felt that fire under his seat when Arson Judge was supposedly signing with the San Francisco Giants. He felt that. And he came back forward. He called up Aaron Judge, said, "What do you need? I need X, Y, and the third. Make it happen." How made that happen? I think the Yankees right now with Aaron Judge's pay like money on the books, I think their payroll is 248 or 253. If anybody has an official number on the Yankees payroll, please put it in the chat for us so we can share. But I think the Yankees with Aaron Judge on the books, they're at 248 around there or 253 around there. So removing Josh Donaldson, removing Aaron Hicks, and removing Gleyber Torres, probably about 35, 36 mil for your team that you could get off the books. So if you could get 36 million off the books, that's just more money you could listen. If you could get Donaldson, Hicks, and Torres money to come off the books, that 36 million, that's Carlos Rodon right there. Just put that with money still to spend. So you could trade those contracts, those horrible contracts, and still have money to spend. Rainy, what it do, baby? He said, "No, I disagree with you, Hector. Cashman is in love with Otani and is willing to give up Volpe this past season for Otani. Yankees are in on." No. I never said that the Yankees weren't in on Otani. I believe that Cashman is that's one of the players that he loves. Like you said, he was entertaining the conversation last trade deadline. But my thing with Otani is that I'm not sure if the Yankees are going to be willing to risk him in the outfield, playing the outfield. Right, Otani has to be a full-time DH, Rainey. I can't see that the Yankees are willing to put Giancarlo Stanton in left field, DH and Otani all the time. I'm not too sure. If that's the situation, if that's how they want to go about it, I'll support it. But I just don't think it makes sense to trade for Otani, who's a big wrist injury, Rainey. Like I said earlier, Rainey, not sure if you was here. Appreciate you for tuning in. Hit that like button as well. But Rainey, like I said, if Otani was a part of your team, and he's out, he gets injured, you're not only losing a top of the line starting pitcher, a number 1 or a number 2 starting pitcher, you are also losing your number 3 or your number 4 hitter in your lineup. And I don't think the Yankees want to put all those, marbles into one player. They want to spread it around. Now, Cashman, I think, like you said, is in love with Otani. Who wouldn't be in love with Otani? When you look at the advanced analytics, Otani is like king of the advanced analytics, but I just don't think the Yankees are going to be willing. First of all, they can't get rid of Giancarlo Stanton. That's blocking Otani. If the Yankees are able to get Giancarlo Stanton to waive his no trade clause and join another team, okay, make that trade for Otani. But I just think that DH spot is clogged up, and I think that DH spot is the only spot where Otani could play. I don't see the Yankees willing or being that willing to just put him in the outfield. I just don't see that type of scenario. Krista Flash says tickets, a pill at the stadium, getting the yes Neckwood when not living in New York. Yeah, putting money in our pockets or spending the team with fans. Agree. Michael Caputo, let me see. Now, you know what the Met fans had to go through with the Wilpons for over 20 years when they never spent money. Cohen was the best thing to happen for the Mets. Absolutely. 100%. When the Wilpons were owning the team, check this out. When the Wilpons were owning the Mets, the highest value that they had was estimated at 1.4 billion for the team. Ever since Steve Cohen has taken over as ownership, that evaluation has doubled, and that team is worth over $3 billion now. So just having Steve Cohen a part of your team and the resources that he have doubled the value of the Mets organization. Mark Teammaker said, all these contracts are out of control, but hey, so is everything else in the world. Exactly. Hopefully one of these days, Mark, if you're able to spit out one of those golden gooses, you know what I mean, have a kid to make millions of dollars in the major leagues, sign me up. Go ahead. But the Mets, to Caputo's point that he was saying earlier, the Mets gone out there, they lost DeGrom, they lost Chris Bassett, but they added Justin Verlander and they added Kodai Senga. Now, Kodai Senga, I have some reserves when it comes to him. I'm not sure if his gyro ball would transfer over to the States like it was in Japan because of the size of the balls, two different ball sizes. But if it works out for the Mets, that's a solid number 3. And the Mets have a potential of going with Scherzer, Verlander, and Kodai Senga. That's a solid 1, 2, 3. You can't deny that. I think that's the first luxury tax threshold. I think Howe is willing to go over that from reports. What he's not willing to go over is that second luxury tax threshold, that 298. I think the 273 he's willing to go over it. It's that 298 he's not willing to go over because it adds 2 extra years to your penalty. So the 273 he may be willing to go over because it only gives you 1 year penalty, but that 298 gives you 2 years of penalty. Maybe 3 because the Yankees were over the first one this year. Maybe, not sure. Michael Caputo says 290. Okay, 290, 298. I see you, Caputs. Jake Ball says, I give him kudos for doing whatever it takes to make the Mets better. Yeah, and when you look at Steve Cohen, he is a diehard Met fan. From the reports that are out there, he is a diehard Met fan. So he didn't buy this team just to add it to his stock portfolio. No, he brought this team because he is a diehard Met fans. A lot of owners out there in Major League Baseball, I'm not going to say which owners, but there's a lot of owners out there that their ownership of the team is only as valuable to them if their stock portfolio looks good, right? So when it comes to them owning a team, when it comes to these little ownership groups owning a team, they don't own the team to be a fan like Steve Cohen. They own a team so it reflects well on their stock portfolio. Steve Cohen, he went into this ownership thing to own the team because he's a fan and wants to improve the team. So as a Met fan, that has to make you excited. That has to take off so much pressure knowing that you have an owner that actually wants to own your team because he loves the fans, not only just to make money. Yeah, so if we're able to get off Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks's contract, that's $30 million right there. So you add that $30 million to that 28.8, let's say $30 million, that's $60 million to mess around with. So if the Yankees are able to get off Donaldson and Hicks, from what LI is pointing out right now, they're at 261, 298 before they get to 290. That's 30 million, 30 million. That's 60 million. That's Rodon and possibly Correa. If both of them sign for 30 million a pop, we don't know. So we don't know. But guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said, this Wednesday coming up, we are having a special episode. Julito McClung will be on the show. He'll be debuting his album. He's bringing in his album so we can listen to it, talk about it. You know, it's going to be some Knicks talks, maybe some Yankee talk sprinkled in, but make sure you guys tune in as well. And as well, this Friday on NYY News TV, make sure you guys tune in to Get Yanked. If you have anything out there on Twitter that you want us to talk about, make sure you retweet it. Make sure you hit it with that hashtag Get Yanked. And make sure you just tune in at 4 p.m. this Friday coming up. Let me go through a few more before we dip out. L.I. Yankee King said, and if you can get out of Torres, that's an extra 10 mil. And DJ, that's an extra 15 mil. Absolutely. DJ and Torres right there, that's 25 million. So with DJ, with Gleyber, with Hicks, and with Donaldson, that's $55 million of just wasted trash. That's $55 million of dead weight on this team's payroll. So if there's a way for us to get rid of Donaldson, to get rid of Hicks, to get rid of DJ, to get rid of Gleyber Torres, and on top of that 30 million we already have to play around with, if there's a way for us to manipulate that, let's have the best offseason we've had since 2009. Shout out to my man, the Smoking Nick, SK. What it do, SK? What it do? But guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. This has been a fabulous episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. And like always, a peace out.
I see you in 3D. The dawn is bright for me. No more dark for me. I know you're watching me.
There's one, there's two.